So let me again try to give you the intro that I was giving you about. So I'm Jai Shri Raja Sriram. I'm really excited to talk to you about our, how the preparation on board exams. I know how daunting it is, and I know how difficult it is to prepare for board exams, but don't worry, I've got you covered. During this live session, I'll be sharing my knowledge and experience in history, geography, civics, and economics to help you succeed in the exam. This live session is particularly brought to you by Githa Corporation Trichy as part of our social responsibility to support students during this critical time. Make sure to tune in and take advantage of this opportunity to learn and prepare for the exam. Whether you're feeling confident or a bit overwhelmed, there's always room, for improvement. So let's join with me and let's work towards acing our social science, class 10 board exams together. Initially, let me just take you through the process of what we'll be doing. So I'll be talking about the important, points in both the, in all the four, um, uh, that is history, geography, civics, and that is civics is democratic politics and economics. So I'll be talking about the important questions chapter wise. All this is based. Let me repeat once again. I'm stating this right in the beginning itself that all that I'm telling you is based on the pattern of question papers that we have been getting from CBSE and the sample question papers that we have been getting from CBSE. I would not advise you only to study what I'm telling over here, and the reason being CBSE has a very you know clear and impartial way of setting up the questions, right from setting up the question papers to setting up checking the portions. It is very fair, and gets it from almost all the corners of the NCRT textbook syllabus. So kindly go through the complete syllabus at least twice, thrice before going through the important questions that I am going to tell you about. All right. One second. All right. So for people who are able to see my screen right now, I'm just going to look at the question paper pattern on the questions based on previous year's question papers and sample papers provided by CBSE. Again, I'm giving you the note that the important topics are as a pattern only, observed as an educator, and please ensure you read the complete portions provided by CBSE thoroughly. These are only my findings, and again, not endorsed by CBSE. All right. When you're looking at answering the papers, right, 1 mark, please do it in a very concise manner. The 2 mark needs to be crisp. You need to write 3 to 5 points at least, that is 40 words, right? For the 3 mark questions, write point-wise answers, have 5 to 7 points, and 85 to 100 words is generally what is being prescribed also. For 5 mark questions, point-wise, side heading, mind maps if any, include explanations clearly. 10 to 12 points in your answers covering all the probable answer in your to that question, and 125 to 140 words is the specifications that would be given in the question paper also. Your 4 mark would be comprehension and understanding based questions, which I would suggest you read through and spend a bit more time, because these are questions that will come from the source that is usually given in your NCRT textbooks, or in the cartoons or the diagrams that are boxes that are usually given within the text itself. All right. So questions that will be included in the board exam are MCQ types, true or false, match the following, picture based, assertion and reasoning. You also have fill in the blanks. You also have source or study, that is basically comprehension type. And what you could do is you can also look at the chronology in history, especially in NCRT. You have small boxes with the chronology of the events that are occurring. Please do go through it. It is very essential for you to understand it. Now let us go to the first lesson, which is rise of nationalism in Europe. Now, rise of nationalism in Europe is actually a culmination of all the 3 or 4 lessons that you studied in class 9. Over here, the main ideas that you will be getting, main questions that you will be getting, is based on French Revolution. What are the effects of French Revolution? How did the concept of nationalism emerge via French Revolution? And what is the idea of nation? right? Making of nationalism in Europe generally talks about, if you look at the questions also, right? You have how did culture play an important role in development of nationalism in Europe. You have questions like how did the local people in the areas conquered by Napoleon react to French rule. All these are the usual typical questions that you will be asked. Please don't my suggestion to all my students that I've been taking for the past couple of years or so, especially training them for board exam, is that please do not expect direct questions all the time. You might be given a case study, you might be given, they might ask you like, there is this particular question that I wanted to talk to you about. Culture has played an important role in the development of nationalism in Europe during the 18th and 19th century. Support the statement with examples. Go through your romantic, nationalism, citing that is there in the NCRT textbook. Read it, and that put it into points would be the answer for this question. Right? Try to be a bit smart about it. Don't read question and answer wise. Read it in topic wise or concept wise, and that will help you answer the questions easier. All right. The Napoleonic Code is a very important concept over here. Then you also have unification questions like unification of Italy, unification of Germany, strange case of Britain. Balkan nations has been asked a couple of times as a 3-mark or a 5-mark question. So I would ask you to go through that also. There is also this concept of making, using women and what was their role and how were women personified, how as a nation. So that is again an important question which I would ask you to look at. So as I have given you, I'm just going to give a summation of the points. French Revolution, idea of nation, making of nationalism in Europe, age of revolutions, making of Germany, Italy, Britain, strange case of Britain, and how the nation was visualized via this concept of romanticism and nationalism and imperialism. All right. The next lesson is nationalism in India. In nationalism in India, the type of questions that you can get is which any question particular to Gandhi that comes, that is an expected question. And the reason I'm telling you this is in this lesson is there for map work also, right? So what happens in this lesson is you will be asked questions like, what was the role played by Gandhi? I'll read out the question for you. Which were the two types of demand mentioned by Gandhiji in his letter to Viceroy Irwin and on 31st January 1930? And why was the abolition of salt tax most stirring demand? Explain. Alright, or explain the circumstances which compelled Mahatma Gandhi to call off the non-cooperation movement in 1930. These are the few questions that you can get. And how did the non-cooperation movement start? How did the civil disobedience movement start? What was the basis of why was it called off? What were the stages? After First World War, what happened in India? Read it as a concept instead of mugging up, because mugging up is not going to, we all have the starting problem where when we mug up, if we don't remember the first word, the whole answer goes, it pushes us to a toss. So I would suggest study, when you're studying also, even at this last moment, study it concept wise. That is going to help you a lot. Impact and incident of Jallianwala Bagh is an important question in this. Looking at the the popularity that RRR has got right now, this particular question, that who was Alluri Sitaramaraju, explain his role in inspiring the rebels with Gandhiji's ideas, might also be a question to be asked. Usually I've seen CBSE is very in tune with the current affairs that is happening in the country also, and there are times when that has reflected in the paper. Like when the elections were happening, we had political parties, question coming from political parties lesson in democratic politics about based on the types, different types of national parties we have, their symbols, etc. So the reason I'm telling you, asking you to study about this Goodham Hills is also because of the popularity that RRR is getting. Again, this is just a speculation. It may or may not happen, but I'm just trying to tell you how the pattern has evolved over the years. All right. So let me sum it up as usual. For nationalism in India, the important topics that you'll be looking at is First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation movement, different strands within the movements, how different sections of the society reacted to nationalism in India, what was civil disobedience movement, and how was the sense of collective belonging among the people in India. All right. I hope I'm making sense to people, and it is useful for your, ultimate checkup of the, uh, y- you know, the portions. Okay. For people who are able to see in Facebook, they'll be able to see the map that I'm displaying with respect to in this particular lesson, nationalism in India, because map questions are expected from this lesson with respect to history. So you can expect 2 marks of map questions coming from this lesson, right? So what are the questions that you can get is Indian National Congress. So what are the Indian National Congress sessions? You have your Calcutta, Nagpur, and Madras. Calcutta is, of course, in in West Bengal, Nagpur in Maharashtra, and Madras in Tamil Nadu. Please look at the map carefully when you're studying the lesson itself. That makes a whole lot sense rather than studying map separately. Please go through map together when you're doing the revision for the lesson itself. Right? Now, important centers of Indian national movement is Champaran, which is there in Bihar, Kheda, which is there in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, which is there in Gujarat, Amritsar, which is there in Punjab, Chauri Chaura, which is there in UP, and Dundee, which is there in Gujarat. The reason I am giving you what happened in those areas is sometimes the question may be asked as mark the place of where the movement of indigo planters happened. At that time you should not feel blank. You should be able to mark it as Champaran, which is there in Bihar. Please do understand this is the only lesson where you will get your map questions from with respect to history. So you can be rest assured that this question, whatever I'm saying, any two from this lot of what I'm saying is going to come for your examination point of view. All right. The next lesson we are going to look at is making of a global world. Now, this lesson we are going to talk about the pre-modern, or we have studied already. The questions can be expected from these sections: the pre-modern world, 19th century, interwar economy, and rebuilding economy. We have seen over the years that they are more worried about the Bretton Woods conference, how China became an attractive destination, why Europeans flee to America. These are the questions that you're getting, and there's this one particular question that has been asked. It's a 3-mark question, but I believe has got a significance, which is before the arrival of outsiders, most of the Africans had little reason to work for a wage. Explain the 3 reasons. Basically, this combines the nationalism concept and imperialism concept and how it led to the whole, subjugation of the African public. And I think that is an important question. Explain the benefits of refrigerated ships. Explain G77, Great Depression, Spanish conquest. You also get questions like trade and cultural exchange went hand in hand. Explain the statement and line of Silk Route. Explain 3 types of movement within the international economic exchange. Then effects of Rinderpest in Africa. Great Depression, how did it affect? These are the typical questions that that have been asked, very frequently over the last few years. Again, let me tell you that whatever I am saying is by observing the pattern of question papers that we have been receiving from CBSE and the sample papers. Please read the lessons at least once or twice, completely before focusing only on these important topics. All right. And the next one is age of industrialization, where we talk about before industrial revolution, then we talk about steam power and hand labor versus hand labor. Then we talk about how industrialization happens in colonies, how factories have come up, what is the peculiar structure in which the industries have grown in, and how are the market for goods. Right now, the questions that we have seen is this textile question has come very frequently, which is major problems faced by Indian weavers in 19th century, and why could Manchester never recapture its old position in Indian markets after the First World War. Right? The question about gomastas and jobbers are also important. These can be terms that can be asked as a 5-mark question, and you can have subdivisions. All right. You can also this question has also been asked as to explain the 5 ways by which new markets and consumers were created in India by British manufacturers. All right. The next lesson that we are talking about is print culture and modern world. Bear in mind that this lesson has been taken off and taken on during the COVID era. So there might be chances that you could get questions from this lesson also. So the usual set of 3-mark questions that we have got over the period of years is what are the printing techniques, involves printing techniques, involves about how new readers started off in the 19th century, who invented the printing press, how did he develop the printing technology. Then you can have the role of women towards reading. Then Martin Luther King remarked that printing is the ultimate gift, explain about it. Yep, these are a few questions, and let me just sum up what is there in this lesson, which is the first printed books, how print comes to Europe, reading mania, new forms of publication, print and censorship. All right, I'm hoping I'm not going too fast, and you guys are able to understand as to what I'm doing over here, which is going to be looking at the overall chapter, at the same time trying to look at the pattern that CBSE has been giving questions in. Again, the reason I'm explaining this again and again is, stating this again and again is, I want you to read, and you should have read the whole lesson at whole CBSE prescribed books at least twice or thrice before focusing on the important questions. All right. Okay. So moving on to geography. Now in geography, we have resources and development lesson, of which the most frequently asked questions have been about Agenda 21, about resource planning, about land degradation in India, then distinguish between renewable and non-renewable, Bangar, difference between Bangar and Bhangar and Khadar, alluvial soil formation. Let me also go have a quick look. Land use pattern in India. All right. Basis how resources, what are resources and how are they based on origin and exhaustibility. All right. Different types of soil, which is the most common type of soil found in India. Answer is again alluvial soil. All right. This lesson is, you have map work in this lesson and it's for identification purpose only. So please have a look at the map. For people looking at this in Facebook, I have shown the map over here where your major soil types have been given very clearly. Please go through the map and have a clear understanding of why that particular soil is there in that area. Do not mug up, because that will help you in writing about, in the writing part as well. Okay. The next concept that we'll be looking at is forest and wildlife. This lesson does not have map work in it. So what is the, this is like, almost a continuation of your 9th standard wildlife and vegetation lesson, right? So why do we need to conserve a forest? What is the differentiation between endangered and vulnerable species? How is overpopulation responsible for environmental degradation? How did communities, what ideas or what projects have they done to conserve and protect the wildlife, wildlife and forests in India, right? So let me sum this up. You have conservation of forests and wildlife in India, you have types and distribution of forests and wildlife resources, and community and conservation. All right. Now the next lesson is water resources. In water resources lesson, the most important, or rather the most often asked questions have been about multi-purpose river valley projects. How the underground tanks have been beneficial to people of Rajasthan. What is the type of water conservation process that has been followed in Rajasthan? What is rooftop harvesting? What is bamboo drip irrigation? What are the traditional methods of rainwater harvesting? Why do we experience a scarcity of water, although there's an abundance in India, right? And these are questions. You also have a map in this lesson. Your map is going to be based on the water resource on the dams. So I have, for people in Facebook, as usual, I've shared the map. So kindly go through the map. In this, locating and labeling will be given, type of questions will be given. So you have the Salal Dam, Bhakra Nangal, Tehri, Rana Pratap Sagar, Sardar Sarovar, Hirakud, Nagarjuna Sagar and Tungabhadra. Please go through the map very carefully and when you're studying the lesson itself. Okay. In agriculture, again, the type of questions that comes is the differentiation between primitive and subsistence, intensive subsistence farming. What is golden fiber? What is oil seeds? Oil seeds have been a question asked time and again. Rice, growth of rice and wheat. How are they different? Or rubber cultivation. And there is also a question of why has Indian agriculture started a decline in the trend of food production, and how can we overcome this problem? All right. For agriculture identification, major areas of rice and wheat, sugarcane, tea, coffee, rubber, cotton and jute. Please look at these states that are important. Why these states are important is that you will be these the states will be shaded, or you would have to shade those states. So have a look at it, and that would kind of help you mark the places also. So for rice, it is Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, AP, Bihar, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh. For wheat, it is Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. For sugarcane, it is Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Bihar. For tea, again, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Assam, Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri districts, right? For coffee, it is Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And for rubber, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. For cotton, it is Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. And for jute, it is West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya. I am sharing this slide again. Reason for this is for clarification purpose only. For map in Facebook that I'm sharing, I have not marked any of the places because I am expecting you guys to at least know the places or know the states when I'm stating them. All right, and it doesn't make sense to give you a colorful map when you can as well do it yourself. All right, so that clears about agriculture. Now let us go to geography. In geography, the next lesson that we will be looking at is minerals and energy resources. Again, let me tell you the important questions that have been asked time and again. Why is conservation of mineral resources essential? Explain any three methods to conserve them. Why conservation of minerals is the need of the hour. Highlight importance of petroleum, urgent need to sustainable development, how biogas can solve the energy problem, and what is the most abundantly available fossil fuel in India. Now for your reference, if you are able to, I don't know if you guys can see the pattern that is emerging. So you usually get questions of sustainable development. You usually get questions, in the paper these words would be mentioned. So try to study those topics concept wise and try to integrate them in your studying, because the answers would be the same, except that the names of resources, development, that would change. All right. In minerals and energy resources lesson also, for people watching in Facebook, I'm sharing the map over here where minerals are for identification. Yeah, I've sent you shared you the picture. So you've got iron ore mines in Mayurbhanj, Durg, Baildalia, Bellary and Kudremukh. Coal mines near Raniganj, Bokaro, Talcher and Neyveli. Oil fields in Digboy, Naharkatia, Mumbai High, Basian, Kalol and Ankleshwar. Alright, please have a look at those places very carefully. When you are studying the lesson itself, do not leave map to the last minute, because map actually helps you get points for writing in the answer paper also. Alright, for power plants, we have thermal and nuclear plants. That is also there for map. Thermal, you have Namrup, Singrauli and Ramagundam. For nuclear, you have Narora, Kakrapara, Tarapur and Kalpakam. Alright. The next lesson that we are looking at is manufacturing industries. In manufacturing industries, again, how the ever increasing number of industries in India has made why are we exerting pressure on existing freshwater resources? This has been a question that we are asked. The other type of question is, why do you have maximum concentration of iron and steel industry in Chota Nagpur Plateau? I mean, the reason is simple, right? Again, it's the place where you have those deposits, mines there, so it is easy for transporting it to the factories, right? Please write the three reasons. Okay. Also, if India is an important iron and steel producing country in the world, yet we are not able to perform to a full potential, suggest and explain three measures. So these are questions that you get again and again. You will also get a question, this question has also been asked quite frequently, the cotton yarn question, right? We have spinners exporting cotton yarn, while our apparel manufacturers have to import fabric. Why? Okay. Then about the national jute policy. Then how industrialization and urbanization go hand in hand, right? Also the proactive approach adopted by NTPC, and what are the factors affecting the location of an industry. In this lesson, software technology parks are the important concept with respect to map marking. So I have shared the map over here of the software technology parks. It is Noida, Gandhinagar, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Chennai and Thiruvananthapuram. Please have a look at the map when you are studying, because that makes your life so much easier. Alright. The next lesson is Lifelines of National Economy, where we are looking at questions would be based on why are roadways important, why are railways important, what is the significance of tourism as a trade in India, why is air travel preferred in northeastern states. Then you have also got question like how the physiographic and economic factors have influenced the distribution of railway pattern in India. Pipeline transport network has been asked once or twice. Mass communication, what is mass communication? That question is a 5-mark question, right? The golden quadrilateral when it comes to roadways. Just go through those questions. I think that will help you go through the concepts that will help you remember and recall, when you are writing the exam. In this lesson, if you look at it, major ports you have that would come from map, which is Kandla, Mumbai, Marmagova, New Mangalore, Kochi, Tuticorin, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Paradip, and Haldia. For people in Facebook, I have shared the screen. You can please have a look at it. And for international airports, we have Amritsar, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and Hyderabad. Please have a look at the names of the airports, because at times it has been asked based on the names of the airport rather than the place where it is situated in. Alright. Democratic politics, you have power sharing. In power sharing, we have questions have been asked on power sharing concepts in Belgium, power sharing concepts in Sri Lanka. Explain the model, what is majoritarianism in Sri Lanka, what is accommodation in Belgium, why is power sharing desirable, what are the different forms of power sharing, horizontal power sharing distribution, and why is it referred to as system of checks and balances. These are the typical 3-mark question that has been asked time and again. All right. Hi Srinivasan. All right. Then we have in federalism, the main topic or the main concept that you've got to study is the features of Panchayati Raj system in India. This is the existence of the state, this lesson, as to why this lesson has come about, because local governance is something that CBSE wants its students to understand. So this question has been asked time and again. All right. Also, there's this concept of coming together federation and holding together federation. In one form or the other, it has been asked. I would always suggest, I have been given this answer by my students, where coming together federation is almost like, Avengers coming together, because everyone has got different, powers, and no one is, how do I say this? No one is the boss of anyone. That's what is coming together federation. Holding together federation is when almost like X-Men. I don't know if it makes sense, but this is something that I thought I should tell you. Also, you get questions like describe how the threefold how distribution of legislative powers happens between union government and state governments, who makes law on what subjects, what are lists, and why makers of a constitution declared India as a union of states. All right. So, in gender, religion, and caste, please go through public and private division, women's political representation. Please exclude pages 46, 48, and 49 on NCERT textbook because in the reprinted edition of 2021, because that has been excluded from the syllabus also. In caste and politics, we talk about caste inequalities in caste, in politics and politics in caste. These are questions that have been asked numerous times in different years. So just go through those concepts, and that will kind of get you on board. All right. For political parties lesson, describe the major functions of political parties in democracy. Look at how political parties are necessary for a democracy. What is meant by national parties, states the criteria for recognizing a party as a national party and a state party. These are questions that have been asked time and again. That is it for this democratic party politics lesson. You also have outcomes of democracy, right? In outcomes of democracy, we are looking at how do we assess democracy's outcomes, what is economic growth, reduction of inequality and poverty, accommodation of social diversity, and dignity and freedom of the citizens. All right. For understanding economic development, we are coming now to economics part, where we have only 4 lessons. Let me just quickly take you through the important questions. In development lesson, people have conflicting goals, support the statement. This question has been asked every alternating year. Why does Kerala have a better HGI index in comparison with Punjab? What is the difference between HGR and the World Development Report? All these are questions that have been asked time and again in various forms. In sectors of Indian economy, I would like you to look at what are the different economic activities that are there, what is disguised unemployment, difference between organized sector and unorganized sector. NREGA Act is important. The reasons for importance of tertiary sector in production is important. And what are the employment conditions prevailing in the organized and unorganized sector is important. In money and credit lesson, the most important concept that we will be looking at is how money is a form of exchange. What are the different credit situations that exist in India? What is the formal sector of credit and self-help groups? In globalization in Indian economy lesson, we are looking at the debt trap and what is the role of WTO, what is the role of technology in stimulating globalization process. Now, now that I have completed the questions that can be asked, let me focus on the timing component also. So on the whole, you have 37 questions which you have to answer in 3 hours, 180 minutes, right? Now read the complete question paper for 10 to 12 minutes. Reading time will be provided. Attempt the questions section wise in an order. It's either A to F or F to A. Alright, do not leave out any questions. So 21 marks is 1 minute per question. Then you have 2 marks, which is 3 minutes per question. 3 marks was 5 minutes per question. 5 marks is 15 minutes per question. 4 marks is 10 minutes per question. Map you can have overall 10 minutes, and the last 15 minutes please spend it in underlining the keywords in pencil or pen and review the answers. Alright, points to remember, again I'm stressing this, don't lose your momentum, follow instructions without deviations, underline, highlight keywords, and map, please do it only in pencil and do not use different colored pens. With this we come to the end of this particular session. I hope it has been useful. I would be sharing my form at the end of this session in comment section. Please fill in the details in case you need the important questions or in case you need a copy of this presentation for you as reference. Thank you so much. All the very best, and please do DM me in case you need anything with respect to social science preparation. Have a great day.